Okay, so hello everyone. Welcome to Audit Core session number 13. Today's topic is the DC and AC analysis of BJT differential amplifier. So the circuit which you see in front of your screen is a BJT differential amplifier consisting of two transistors Q1 and Q2 along with their resistor values RS1 and RS2 as 100 ohms and RC1 RC2 as 5 kilo ohm. The value of RE is given as 4.7 kilo ohm and the circuit is powered with plus or minus 10 volts DC supply given over here. And we have two inputs V1 and two AC inputs, which is V1 and V2, which are in the differential mode. That means V1 and V2 can be of out of phase signal or it can be of in phase and different polarity. That is, V1 can be positive and V2 can be negative polarity. Okay, so that makes it a differential input signal. Now, even the beta values of both the transistors are same given as 100. And if you see carefully, Q1 and Q2 transistors are actually, along with the circuit, are actually mirror images of each other. If you build a bifurcation line in the middle, you will see both the stages are mirror images of each other. Okay, let us start. So the given circuit is a dual input balance output differential amplifier, correct? So that means dual input means that we have two inputs V1 and V2, that is differential mode, and the output is taken across the collector terminals. Let me show it to you once. So here it is. One of the output is taken from here, okay, and another output is taken from here. So you can see here it's a differential balanced output. So output is taken across the both the terminals, across the collector 1 terminal and collector 2 terminal. Okay, so this I'm not renaming it as output 1 and output 2. I'll do that in the LT spice simulation. So far I think this is clear. Okay, so this is one and this is, oh, sorry, let me, yeah, this is 2. So output is taken across 1 and 2 terminals with respect to each other and not with respect to ground. Now let me clear the drawings. I hope that this is clear. Now let us proceed forward. So as I've told you earlier, both the stages are mirror images of each other. Now this is a special kind of circuit wherein an amplifier doesn't have any capacitors. We don't require any capacitors in this case. So for DC analysis, we consider only the one half of the stage. As I've told you, if you make a bifurcation line exactly in the middle, both the stages will be symmetric. Let me show it to you. So let this be the bifurcation line in the middle. Okay. Now, if you see to the left of this line or the right of this line, your both the stages will be symmetric, exactly the symmetric. Okay. So let me go back. Yeah, so only considering the one half will be appropriate. So over here, while we bifurcate it, we can draw this resistor RE as two parallel resistors with a value of 2 RE. Okay, so if you have two resistors with a value of 2 twice RE, the parallel combination will give you RE. Okay, so that's what we are doing over here. We have taken consider twice RE over here. I hope that this will be clear. Okay, and while we do the DC analysis, we deactivate all the AC sources. So we have connected V1 as short circuited. Okay, so we have considered only one half of the circuit. Fine, because the other half is the mirror image of each other. And now if you do the DC analysis and try to find the base current to the transistor Q1, so it will be VEE. If you apply the KVL to the base emitter loop, you will get IBQ is given by VEE minus VBE upon RS the plus twice 1 plus beta times RE. Okay, so here I have considered RS1 is equal to RS2 is equal to RS and RC1 is equal to RC2 is equal to RC. That is the assumption we have made. And here we have also assumed that VB1 is equal to VB2 is equal to zero point 0.7. Okay, so we substitute the value of VEE as 10, VBE as 0 0.7, RS as 100, beta as 100. So it will be 2 into 101 and RE value is 4.7 kilo ohms. So if you solve this in a calculator, you will get the value of IBQ as 9.7946 microamperes, and the value of ICQ will be beta times IBQ, which will be 0.97946 milliamperes. Now, since both half of the circuits are mirror image of each other, hence ICQ1 is equal to ICQ2 is equal to ICQ, which is equal to 0.97946 milliamperes. Okay. Similarly, we calculate the VCQ. So VCE is VCC plus VE minus ICQ into RC plus twice RE. Okay, this I have directly written the formula. This you will get by applying the KVL at the collector emitter loop. You apply the KVL in the collector emitter loop, you will get this formula. Okay, so if you work out in a calculator, VCE value is 5.8957 volt. So since both the half of the circuits are mirror image of each other, so VCEQ1 will be equal to VCEQ2, which will be equal to VCEQ, which is 5.8957 volt. Now, for the small signal parameters, the RPI value is given as beta VT upon ICQ. Okay, so RPI will be beta is 100, VT is 26 millivolt, and ICQ is 0.79946 milliamperes. So if you work out in a calculator, the value of RPI will be 2.6545 kilo ohms. Now again, since the both half of the circuits are same, RPI1 will be equal to RPI2, which will be equal to RPI. Fine. And now the differential voltage gain formula is given by AD is equal to, AD is the differential voltage gain, is given by mod of beta RC divided by R pi plus RS. So beta value is 100, RC value is 5 kilo ohms, R pi value is 2.6545 kilo ohms, and RS is 100. So if you work out in a calculator, the value of differential voltage gain will come out to be 181.52. It has no unit, it's a voltage gain. Then the differential mode input resistance will be given by the formula. Now I'm not showing you all how we got this, but we have this formula ready with us. So differential mode input resistance is given by the formula twice RS plus R pi, which is given by twice into 100 plus 2.64 kilo ohms, and that value comes out to be 5.509 kilo ohms. Okay, so we have got all the values, and now we have to make the circuit in LT-Spice and verify whether the simulated values and calculated values are coming all right or no. Okay, so I have divided the circuit into two halves. Here it is. On the left hand side, you see the circuit in OneNote PDF. Okay, let me reduce it slightly. Yeah, it is reduced now. And on the right hand side, we have the LT-Spice window open with us. Okay, so let us verify all the things here. So over here, RC1 and RC2 are 5 kilo ohms, as you can see. VCC and VE are plus 10 and minus 10. RS1 and RS2 is 100 ohms, and RE is 4.7 kilo ohms. And the beta value of both the transistors is 100. Okay, so everything seems correct. Let me maximize this now. Okay, fine. So everything seems correct. And now only two things are left. We have to apply the AC input. So you go to the components and select voltage and place two voltage source, one over here and another over here. Now these two voltage source has to be differential. So right click on it, go to advanced, go to sign. We can give DC offset as 0. Amplitude will be 10 millivolts peak. Frequency we can give 20 kilohertz, and the degree phi should be 0. The phase angle I'm giving it as 0. Now as far as for the second differential input, again go to advanced, again go to sign. DC offset is 0. Again the amplitude is 10 millivolt. Frequency is same 20 kilohertz, but it should be out of phase with the V1 source. Okay, so here the phase shift is 180 degree. That means both the differential inputs, both the inputs are differential since they are out of phase by 180 degree. Fine. Now, yeah, and the dot model statement is already defined with us. Dot model NPN, and there is the name given over here, NPN N1 and NPN1, and the reserve word is NPN, and beta is written as BF, which is 100, and IS is the reverse saturation current, which is 1 into 10 is to minus 14. Now let me rename this transistor as Q1 underscore the name, and Q2 underscore the name. Okay. Okay, let me change it properly and let me place it somewhere over here. So this is Q2 and that was Q1. Okay, so both the transistors are given their names properly. And now let's check the DC analysis. So for the DC analysis, what we do is we'll go to simulate, we'll click on run and click on DC operating point and again click on OK. A new window will open up. Just close this and just let me push this up a little. Okay. Now what we need to go do is we need to click on view and click on spice error log. The moment we do that, we'll get the DC parameters of both the transistors carefully, if you can see carefully over here, Q2 and Q1. Now let us cross check these values with the results which we got in the theoretical calculations. Okay, over here. So the value of IB, first I will just, yeah. So the value of IBQ, IB, let us check. Both the stages are symmetric, as you can see very clearly. Both the stages have same parameters almost. Fine. So IB1 will be simulated value is 9.48 microamperes and calculated is 9.7946 microampere. That's quite close. IC value, IC1 or IC2 value is the same, and its value is 0.984 milliamperes, and by calculation its value is 0.97946 milliamperes. VCE is 5.73 volt, and by calculation it is 5.89 volts. That's okay because it's a BJT. So RPI value it's 2.63 by simulation, and by calculation is 2.65. Okay, as you can see, both the stages parameters are exactly the same, as you can see over here very clearly. Okay, now let us close this. So you can take this, whenever you do this lab, you take this print screen of this also. Okay, see to it that while you do this, you can expand this and maximize this so that the values are visible over here. Okay, let me close this now. Now next thing to do is let us deactivate this. We don't require this .op now. We'll want to plot the the input and output and find out the differential gain. So what we need to do is go to simulate, click on run, and go to transient response. Here the frequency is 20 kilohertz. Okay, so maybe the stop time we can give it as 0.2 millisecond, 0.2 milliseconds, and click on OK. So new screen will open up. Here you can give V in 1 and V in 2. We are plotting the differential input. So I can right click over here, add trace, and can write V in 1 minus V in of minus. Okay, so this is the differential input. Okay, this is the differential input, V in plus minus V in minus. Okay, and if you want to view it separately, I mean if you want to really see if it is really a differential input, I can right click and show it to you. So this is V in plus, and this will be, let me show it to you, this is V in minus. As you can see, they are clearly out of phase with each other. So these are two differential inputs. Okay, now let me delete this and let me add V in plus minus V in minus. Okay, so this is my differential input, and right click over here, add trace, and now we will plot V out plus minus V out minus. So this will give us the differential output. So here it is, the differential input and the differential output. So that is why it is a dual input balance output. Now to check the peak to peak values, we will use the dot measure statement. You can do it this way also. You can have this cursor, move it into the peak, have another cursor and move it to the peak, and then measure the value. I mean, it's a little bit accuracy on the calculation part, and who is on this cursor exactly placed at the top, that matters a lot. That is why what we will do is instead we'll adopt a different approach. So we'll use the dot measure statement. Right click, go to draft, go to spice directive. So we'll write the dot measure statement, which is dot meas. We will write with differential. We are calculating the differential voltage, right? So VD will be given by peak to peak value. Basically, it will be V of I plus minus V of I in minus. Okay, so this will measure the peak to peak value and will store in the differential voltage variable. Next will be V out, again peak to peak. So now it will be V out plus, that's the node we have given, and another one will be V out minus. So it depends upon what label you have given to the output nodes. And lastly, again, we'll write dot measure and we'll calculate the differential gain. So D gain, let me write differential gain will be given by V out divided by differential input VD. Okay, and let me add this statement over here. I hope that is clear now. Let me increase the font little bit. So these few three statements will calculate the differential gain automatically from these waveforms. Okay, so let me just simulate it again once more. So here is this, the differential input and the differential output. Now again maximize this, go to view, go to spice error log, and it will give you the value of VD and V out. Okay, so the differential voltage value, it's coming out to be slightly different. Let me check out why. Okay, fine. So we have to write dot. Okay, last statement, it's a small error. So dot measure differential gain param. We have to write param, add a param word over here. Okay, again simulate. So we're getting the output respectively properly. Now let's go to view, spice error log, and here it will give you the value of differential gain directly. So as you can see over here, the differential gain is coming out to be 175.7. Note that it will not give you the phase shift. It will only give you the magnitude. Let's check this number with the calculated value. So the calculated value is 181.52 and mod of 181.72. That is, we have taken only the magnitude, and the simulated value is 175.703. Okay, so the differential gain, some difference is coming, but it's quite well within the limits, and it comes this much difference for a BJT amplifier because of its input impedance. Okay, so the value of differential gain is coming all right, well within the limits. 181.52 by calculation and 175.7 by simulation. Let me now shut this down. And only one thing is left now, is to calculate the input impedance, that is a differential mode input impedance. So for that, I don't require this dot tran. What we need to do is, for that input impedance, is we need to apply a test source at the input. Okay, so input impedance, I can measure it only either at the terminals, either I can measure it like this over here, or I can measure it across this terminal IN minus or IN plus. So let us consider IN plus. So let me just write this. What is this input impedance given by? So let me go to draft and comment. So input impedance, which is Zin, will be given by Vin divided by In. Okay, which can be written as V test divided by I test. Okay, so that is the formula of your Zin. Fine. So for that, what we need to do is we need to right click this source. Actually, we first delete this source. We'll add another source and we call it as the name as test source. So we'll rename it as value, go to advanced and click the value AC amplitude as 1. That's it. And rename the source as test. Also rename the label as test. Okay. So now what we need to do is we go to simulate, we'll click on run. It will ask for the analysis. So go to AC analysis, click on the type of sweep as decade, number of points per decade, let us give it 100, start frequency, let it be 100, and frequency, let it be 10 mega, and click on OK. Fine. So here, if you do that, you will automatically get the output, but this is not correct. We have to delete this. Okay, let me close this. So go to simulate again, click on run. So your x-axis will be the frequency, okay, in logarithmic. So what you need to do is right click, add traced, plot v test upon I test. So v test divided by I test. Where is I test? I test is over here. So v test divided by I test will give you the actual result. Okay, so here it is. I will maximize this, remove this phase plot, and right click on this .db and click on linear. So here is the value which is coming out. So if you want to check it at around 20 kilohertz, you can right click over here, because remember our source was 20 kilohertz. So at 20 kilohertz, the value of the input impedance is 5.44 kilo ohms. Let's check that value by calculation. Okay, yeah. So by simulation, the value of differential mode input impedance is 5.5 kilo ohm, and by simulation, it's coming out to be 5.44 kilo ohms. Okay, so this is the way you calculate the input impedance of the circuit. Fine. Okay, so in this way, we have estimated the DC parameters, the AC parameter, that is the differential mode gain, and the input impedance, differential mode input impedance of this BJT differential amplifier. Let's go back to the PDF. Okay, and we have verified all these parameters by calculation and by simulation. Now, for the exercise part, you have to change, you have to keep, for the first part, you have to keep all the resistor values same, only change RC1 and RC2 to 7.5 kilo ohms. Okay, earlier it was 5 kilo ohms, change it to 7.5 kilo ohms and note down the change in the parameters. And for the second part, rest all same, only change RE value to 6.2 kilo ohms. Only change RE value to 6.2 kilo ohms and repeat the entire analysis for the changes. Okay, so only note down the modified table. Okay, so I think that's it for this session. We have completed the DC and the AC analysis of your BJT differential amplifier. Next time we'll begin with a MOSFET differential amplifier. Until then, have a good day and thank you.